I want everybody to go to Psalm 136. If you got it in your word, you've got your Bibles there. And I'm going to read this. I want everybody to just join together. In this verse, this is one of those repetitive or repetition type verses. And it'll say, for his mercy endures forever. So what I want to do is read the line, and I want everybody to say together, his mercy endures forever. I think there's something that the Father wants to really put into our hearts. Now, I'm going to be reading from the New American Standard Version. You can read it along, but I want everybody to say, for his mercy endures forever. So first verse, let's go. Give thanks to Yahweh, for he is good, for his mercy endures forever. Right, everybody say it together. Give thanks to the God of gods, for his mercy endures forever. Give thanks to the Lord of lords, for his mercy is forever. To him who alone does great wonders, for his mercy endures forever. To him who made the heavens with skill, his mercy endures forever. To him who spread out the earth above the waters, for his mercy endures forever. To him who made the great lights, for his mercy endures forever. The sun to rule by day, for his mercy endures forever. The moon and stars to rule by night, for his mercy endures forever. To him who smote the Egyptians in their firstborn, for his mercy endures forever, and brought Israel out of their midst, for his mercy endures forever. Y'all stay with us. With a strong hand and an outstretched arm, for his mercy endures forever. To him who divided the Red Sea asunder, for his mercy endures forever, and made Israel pass through the midst of it, for his mercy endures forever. But he overthrew Pharaoh and his army in the Red Sea, for his mercy endures forever. To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his mercy endures forever. To him who smote great kings, for his mercy endures forever, and slew mighty kings, for his mercy endures forever. Sihon, king of the Amorites, for his mercy endures forever, and Og, king of Bashan, for his mercy endures forever, and gave their land as a heritage, for his mercy endures forever, even a heritage to Israel his servant. For his mercy endures forever, and remembered us in our low estate, for his mercy endures forever, and has rescued us from our adversaries. For his mercy endures forever, who gives food to all flesh, for his mercy endures forever. Give thanks to the God of heaven, for his mercy endures forever. What goes around comes around. For his mercy endures forever. All I can say is when I was reading through that, and I'm just remembering, we're here at the Passover season, and we're in the time that we're able to once again share the story of the great deliverance and redemption of God's people out of Egypt. And not only to remember history as it was, but to remember our history, which is his work within our lives that brought us out of that land of Egypt, that land of slavery. And why? Because his mercy endures forever. And as there was a first Exodus, so there is another Exodus coming. So I was talking with Sandi and Eddie and Tammy about this earlier this week, and just thinking about the greater Exodus. Do you realize at the first Exodus, the people were enslaved by Pharaoh? We know that, right? And they had gone through the process of watching 10 plagues hit the land, culminating at Passover when the death angel passed over, right? And those that didn't have the blood on the doorposts their firstborn were killed. The first of their flocks, the first of their family, all of the firstborn were killed. I mean, I'm thinking about this. We're not just talking about like the firstborn child, but if the dad was a firstborn, the dad was taken out. I mean, we're talking about something a lot more. A lot of times we get the picture of just the firstborn son, being slaughtered. No, the firstborn. And the animals. And the firstborn of the animals, all of that. Think about this. The firstborn of the animals were to be dedicated to Yah. If you had a donkey and it was the firstborn, it was to be dedicated to Yah. And if you didn't, you're supposed to break its neck. It's so don't you know that the firstborn is very important? We are considered his firstborn. But when we come to this Passover season, they were told to take the lamb into their house for 4 days. Examine it. It became part of the family. What do? An animal that's in your house for 4 days, don't you get a liking to it? You get a little attached.
Learn to love it.
Yeah, and that animal trusts you. You're feeding it. You're giving it water. You're taking care of it. And then that innocent lamb that has grown to love you, that you've gotten a little attachment, a little bit of feelings for, you take its head, and that lamb will willingly stretch its neck out for you, and you slit its throat, and it lays down its life. And then you think that these 4 days of process, they're listening to Moses. Moses was telling them what was going on. They've been told for quite a period of time that they would leave. They know the prophetic word that was given to Abraham, that the people would be set free from the land of Egypt. They knew that the time was close, but did they know this was the season? Or did they think that maybe could it be another week, another month, another year down the road? So there was a sign of maybe a little bit of getting ready, but on the other side, well, we've been in Egypt for so long. This isn't the year. Maybe all the signs aren't all there. And then as the days counted down, and then the night of the Passover, and they slaughtered that lamb, and they ate the lamb with their shoes on and their belts around their waist. And even still, there was some anticipation. And even still, and then the death angel goes. And they're like, is this it? Is it really it? But it was down to the wire. And then Moses got up and said, let's go. You hear the word come from Pharaoh. Go on, get out of here. When did that word come? On that first day of unleavened bread. No one could read the future. They couldn't see the future. They saw the signs. Everything looked like it, but nobody knew because Pharaoh hadn't given the word. Moses didn't say, he gave the word, let's go. Nothing. They didn't have YouTube and Facebook and all these other social media and the ability to text each other and get a message out. But all of a sudden, everybody in every tribe and a mixed multitudes got the word and left. 500,000 people. Could be all the way up to 3 to 4 million people, possibly. Maybe up to 5 million people without a smartphone.
Wow.
No mass texting on this one. And so I want you all to know, because here we're 4 days
For some.
Or some are even sooner. Some are doing a day later. But we're roughly 3 to 5 days from observing Passover and beginning unleavened bread. And we escape to Har Sinai, to the mountain, the same mountain that Moses went up, to be in a place of safety, where the sound of the shofar could sound, and the virgins get up and light their lamps, and 5 had enough oil because they prepared for it. They knew the sound of the shofar. They were ready. And those that didn't have enough, they weren't ready. And the 5 entered in, and they were brought to the place of safety, and the door was closed. And everything looked normal. Everything looked normal. Lots of signs, lots of things that are teetering. And some said, oh, all the signs aren't there the way I thought it would be, so therefore I'm not going out yet.
Or they're not in the big form that as they were. They're supposed to be bigger, and they're not there.
The signs weren't as big as they thought they would be.
I like what you said before.
What did I say?
That the signs have not come yet because it's reversed.
Or the signs had not come yet, but because perhaps the signs, those 10, like the 10 plagues, maybe like in the first time, they happened before the Exodus, but now it's reversed. There's an Exodus, and then the plagues begin to hit.
Explain why, Deuteronomy.
Okay, let me give you another picture. In the Torah, from Genesis and Exodus, in equal letter skipping, the name Yahweh is spelt forward. In Numbers and Deuteronomy, in equal number spacing, it's spelled in reverse. All pointing to Leviticus, Vayikra. Could it be? I mean, I'm just putting something out there. We need to maybe do a little bit more studying on this. Could it be that in the time of the Exodus, because think about it, Exodus occurred before Leviticus. We had a process of 10 plagues leading to an Exodus that perhaps could we have on the other side, because Deuteronomy is about us. The reversal, the Exodus, and then the world faces tribulation.
Or the biggest part of the tribulation.
The plagues. Think about how in the book of Revelation, I think we see the sign of the 4 horsemen. They're right now. They're all galloping, every one of them. But when you see in the book of Revelation, Revelation chapter 12, and the people are called to Har Sinai, some would say to Megiddo. I don't think it's the Valley of Megiddo.
No.
I don't think it's that way. We've talked about why. We talked about how the Old English got switched in the modern translations, and how the GH sound is a silent as in neighbor and way, and how English transformed and changed the name of Har Moed, calling it Har Mogeddon, mountain of Mageddon, and yet the GH is silenced because in Old English it was a silent sound. Har Moed. Moed is the mountain of the festivals. The mountain of the festivals. Har Moed. So our Exodus is to Mount Sinai. I just wanted to give you something to think about, to chew on, that because some say that the altar needs to be built and the offerings need to start, and then they'll be cut off, And then we'll know that's the sign of the Passover. Some have said that we will go through the same plagues as they did in the book of Egypt or in the book of Exodus, and that'll lead to the greater Exodus. Some have said these things, but I'm thinking we never know until we get there. But those that have ears to hear, let them hear what the Spirit is saying. This on the day that the cloud came down on the mountain, on the Feast of Shavuot, there were sounds of the shofar, sounds of trumpets. And that the time that Yeshua comes, the bridegroom comes, and the sound of the shofar, let he who has ears to hear that sound and be ready to go. Abraham had 2 visitors, 3 visitors. On what day? Passover. It was on the 3rd day after the circumcision. Where are we right before unleavened bread?
Oh, there they are. They're taking care of it for me. All right, hold on, you guys. I'm putting you on speaker. I'm giving you the time.
And the visitors showed up. And one we see as Yeshua. We have the other 2 are 2 witnesses. Should we say 2 witnesses that went down to get Lot on the same day? And then what happened? Got Lot the next morning. They get Lot and the family out. And isn't this interesting? This is the year 2023. The beginning of this Hebrew month that we're in right now, the first month, corresponds with the year of Jubilee. It was declared at the Day of Atonement last fall from Israel. This is the year of Jubilee. It begins, they make the declaration in the fall so that it begins on the first month of the year.
Waiting for you.
And so maybe this is another way to look at it. Now, is anybody right? Is anybody, does anybody have the actual corner on the market on this? No. But what do? We have a lot of puzzle pieces and they're all fitting together. And then the picture becomes more and more clear as they fit together like that. So, all right. So that's just some thoughts for you. Anybody have a testimony real quick?
I was just going to say, I know what you were talking about because it was winter and all my dad's cattle died except for one baby.
Oh.
It was in our house for a week or so, and we rode it around, and it was fed, and then Kathy was gone, and we were like, "Where's Kathy?" And he goes, "He's going to be on the dinner table in about a week."
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm
Oh.
talking about.
Yeah, right. Okay. I did want to share this. I shared this a little bit during Torah portion. And I think it was on Tuesday on Walking in Spirit and Truth. And I was sharing, how we just we always have to be ready. We always need to be prepared. You've heard me talk about this a lot because the Father has divine appointments ready for us. And if our heart's ready, then we're ready to speak. If that divine appointment happens, you're like, man, I'm not prepared to speak. There's a lot of things going on in our lives. And sometimes we're just not ready and we miss opportunities. And so on Thursday, it was right at the end of the day, and I went to go look at a lady's car, and it's just very interesting that there had been what do you do when you have an opportunity to talk to somebody who's like, there's an opportunity here. I don't know if it's right just yet, but then the Father will give you the topic to drop. The topic was the Jesus Revolution movie, which opened up a whole conversation that brought about Torah, walking in Torah. And the same lady said, somebody just a couple weeks ago was talking to me about the Hebraic roots of our faith. And now you're the second person. And then, so that was really good. It was really cool how the door opened up and we visited. There was something else that happened, and she gave a testimony that she attends in the Jesus movie, Calvary Chapel, which is a very small congregation, and it exploded. It became basically became a denomination, became a network of churches that were birthed from the same movement, and which was the Jesus movement. And Chuck Smith specifically said that that he didn't want to go in the directions of the gifts of the Spirit because he felt like there's a lot of theatrics in it and didn't want to go there. So he said, we're going to focus on love. That's what we're going to do, is focus on love, which, however the Father leads congregation, that congregation has, and that network of churches have touched a lot of lives. Took a lot of young people and discipled them, brought them in, loved them, discipled them, and has done a lot of good. This lady was talking about that she had a debilitating back injury from an accident that would leave her bedridden for days. Literally, she couldn't get up to go to the bathroom, to wash, to clean, shower, whatever, bathe, nothing. Bedridden for a number of years. I want to say probably like 5 years. I mean, completely dependent on somebody else to come and feed her, to even to go to the bathroom, someone to clean her up after the bathroom. I mean, we're talking about, that's really debilitating. And some friends and family gathered around her one evening and laid hands on her. And she was miraculously healed and still is completely symptom-free today.
Woo! That's awesome.
Even, and she attends a Calvary Chapel church that's here in Amarillo that doesn't practice the laying on of hands and believing in healing. And here the Father did that, and it shifted her life. And now we've got 2 witnesses have now deposited more that is causing her to say, we're getting ready, we're selling our house, we're moving into a trailer, we're going to start this ministry and set up tiny homes for battered and abused women. And I have 2 months that I'm going to have that I will not be working, and I'm so excited now to spend time in the Word and study these things out. And she asked for help. She asked for some websites and materials and that sort of stuff. So I'm going to connect her with some things. And this lady's going to go on a journey. They're going to have this ministry of ministering to these women that they're going to get the Word, because there's someone that's hungry. And here it is. Here, what seems to be so natural for us. I mean, we've been walking in this for a long time. There's people out there that are they're hungry, and they're just about ready to jump in. They've about decided to say, I don't care what that water temperature is when I touch it with my toe. I'm just going in. And so that's our prayer, that there's going to be a lot more. There's a revival happening in the world right now. It's all corresponding, it's all coming together, and it's Passover season. And what a greater time in the world to be living. If this is not the time of the second Exodus and we wait another year, okay, so be it. Do I want that? No. Selfishly, I want to say, I want my leklika. I want out of here. I want to get yourself up out of here, Abraham. I want that message. I want to say it's time just to hook up the trailer and have that extra can of gas and hit the road, Jack, Don't you come back no more. All right, so that's what we're going to, that's what we're looking forward to.
Well,
and we're looking forward to, by the way, having the Seder at our house this year.
I put it with Jonathan's dreams too. Those were pretty powerful.
Can you speak to that?
No, we would need to call Jonathan. You think he would respond?
He might.
Hey, Jonathan, you're listening. So what if I call you right now so you can tell us your dreams?
Not to put you on the spot, but he had actually a couple dreams.
Amazing prophetic dreams.
Yeah, prophetic dreams. And yeah, very interesting, because if you look at the current events that are happening today, And by the way, dreams like this, that if Jonathan is able to speak to it,
Did you hear me talk about you? I'm calling you so you can tell us your dreams. I'm going to put you on speaker. Yeah, because we want to hear them. Okay, y'all. How many of you
Come on,
want
Jonathan.
Come on, Jonathan.
I'm here.
Abraham and
Uh-huh.
Justin and Uncle Mike and Stan and Terry and Andy and Brenda and Jack and Sissy and your daddy and your mommy. We want you to
And
tell.
favorite father-in-law.
And your father-in-law. Can't believe I forgot your other mom and dad.
yeah.
Okay, I'm putting you on speaker. Okay,
Hey,
everybody,
Jonathan.
this is Jonathan Craig.
Hi, Jonathan.
Okay, so for my first dream, again, they're not long dreams.
Who's
So we
What's your
were,
daddy?
I think, in the area around my parents' house, and there's just a bunch. I think it was around there, and there were a bunch of jets flying around. There was a fight going on in the sky. And basically, the jets were going after the angels. I assume they're in my dream. They were angels. They really look like angels. I don't really know what they look like, but they'd be chasing the angels. The angels would turn around, zap them, and the jets would explode, and there's just a big battle in the sky. And that's basically the first dream. The second dream, my dad and I were out, I think, doing a claim, and it was kind of out towards where the Cadillac Ranch is and stuff like that area, and we just saw thousands of planes, like basically in groups of 50, like 50 formations of B formation, 50 planes, jets going by, and just thousands of them in the sky. And I was like, it's time to go. I was like, it's time. And I was like, we got to get me to Killian so I can get her and Ryan, everybody ready. And then we'll go, you get to mom and get them ready. And I guess we'll meet up. And then, the alarm started going off. And then there's a thunderstorm started happening in the distance during the same time. So that was basically the dreams, both those dreams. So.
When he
okay.
said something, he described it like thousands of planes.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're flying in that
Stop.
V, the V formation. Like you see the geese, when you see all the geese going south for the winter, you're in that V formation. Yeah. Just
Try to hold on.
flying. So that's pretty cool. There was a dream that I had in 1999, where we were living here in Amarillo
Okay.
in
good.
a
Okay.
in a house. I've shared this dream before. Some of y'all haven't heard it. And we were in a house that's not our house that we live in today, nor at the time that we lived in, but it was an older home that has those big wood front porches on it. And I was out in the front yard. We had a big tree in the front yard and something, but I looked up and I saw a ballistic missile launching, intercontinental ballistic missile. I'm like, oh no. And at the time, it was like, I knew we have 25 minutes. And I didn't realize that today, that basically that we would have a 25-minute window warning for a lot of these ballistic missiles, at least the ones that the United States launches. The Russia now has hypersonic ballistic missiles. So when they launch, it's almost momentary, especially if they launch from one of the coasts. But that's the one I saw launch, and I went in, told Sandi. Jonathan was just a kid in my dream, because he was at that time, and said, get the animals, you and Jonathan get going and go down to Palagura Canyon, get down out of the blast area, because it's all flat out here. And I took off and I ran out the front door, leaped off the front porch, and that's when I went around through the neighborhood telling people, we have 25 minutes, get ready. And everybody was simply one house, they were just watching TV and they didn't really care. They weren't paying attention. Another house, they were barbecuing in the backyard and they didn't care. They didn't pay attention. I went, there's a park there. They're playing ball in the park. They didn't pay attention. They didn't care. And I woke up. And that was,
And we've discussed this.
25 years
the
ago.
time of telling is over.
The time is telling is over. And what I understand, there's lots of people having these type of dreams today.
Sissy,
You have one?
No, my son, he just told me 2
Mike?
months ago, and it's so pervasive that he actually drew it out on a huge board. He's been having a recurring dream of a giant meteor or asteroid or something striking the ocean and swamping
Okay.
everything. And it's so ingrained, he's drawing it on a huge, like 3x4 feet board.
Wow. Wow. Okay. And he's an artist, so
Yeah.
it must be very graphic looking. Okay. All right. So be prepared. That's my encouragement to y'all today. Be prepared. Is this the year of the Exodus? I don't know. But we do know Israel left Egypt. They packed it up and they left and they traveled and they ended up at Har Sinai. As what's happened to the fathers, so will happen to the sons. And so that's where we are today. And is this a year? I don't know. But I do know that the shofar will sound. And he who has an ear, hear. Let us hear what the Spirit is saying to the congregations. Amen? All right. Tremendous time. You have something, Rick? Yeah. We're going to have to prepare everybody to switch streams here.
Because we're close to that.
Totally different subject. When I was coming back to the Panhandle area, I was coming up Highway 6 and stopped at Eastland to fuel up, and I found out that I had a flat on my trailer. And the tires on those trucks are about $300 or so, $350. So the guy there at the truck stop gave me a number to call, and I called this guy up, and he notified me, well, it's after 5 o'clock. We have a $220 call out, plus $250 a mile, plus the cost of $50 fixing flat. Well, I was doing a little figuring in my head, and I thought, I might as well just go on. You know, I can buy a tire, and it won't cost me any more to buy a brand new tire. So I went up the road, and about 20, 25 miles up the road, there was a Love's, and I thought, well, I'm going to stop in here. Pull in there. There was nobody at the service station. Nobody waiting at the service deal. So they got me right in. And while they were guy out there doing the actual work, there were two guys, young guys in there talking, and just a little conversation about how the name Hoffy Transport was. And I told him, I said, well, in the Hebrew language, there's no letter J, so his name's not actually Jesus. His name's Yeshua, and the Hoffy stands for Hearts on Fire for Yeshua. And I got to talking with them a little bit, and it's just not a long drawn out deal because we didn't have that much time, but I hopefully planted a couple of seeds that got them a little curious about things. And so I got to share that a little bit, and also it cost me $51 to get that flat fixed, not $300.
Oh.
Hey, Rick, was that at Barry, that Love's right there on I-20?
Yeah.
Was it at Barry, Texas?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was right there in that area.
Okay. The other one, I can't actually say that I have experienced a lot of things where Yah just kind of spoke to me and over, but one of the things that coming in yesterday, sometimes when you're driving a truck, you got a little time.
No.
But one of the things he kind of seemed like he was putting on my heart, that it was a message that I was supposed to give to Terry. This is a message for Terry and Michael. You two have probably been the most dedicated and loyal people for this church that we had, or that we still have. You made a habit of every week coming to clean the church, whether you felt like it or not. It was something that was put on your heart to do. And I think that we owe a debt of gratitude to you. And it was just put on me that it needed to be said. How thankful we are to have you. How thankful we were to have Michael for all these years. There is a good chance that when I leave, a lot of times I don't get to make it back during the middle of the week when we're going to have the Passover at John and Sandy's house. But one of the things that was put on my heart that you guys may have to do for me, if I was there, I would do it. But it was kind of put on my heart that we should wash the feet. We should wash the feet of the servant. So if I'm not there, guys, you're going to have to do that for me.